Okay, we want to know how many distinct sums we can get by adding any two different numbers shown above. Okay, now we know we can get all of the numbers that we have right there by simply adding 0 to one of them. So we can get all of those sums. We can get them a bunch of different ways, but we only count each sum once. For instance, negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. We can also get negative 4, negative 2, 2 and 4 in between them, because for instance negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. So you see we can get negative 4, negative 2, 2 and 4 as well. Now we put our attention at the ends. How many numbers can I get less than negative 5? Well, I can get negative 6 for instance, because negative 5 plus negative 1 is negative 6. Negative 5 plus negative 3 would be negative 8. So I can get negative 6 and negative 8. Concomitantly, I can get positive 6 and positive 8. I can't get negative 7 and I can't get positive 7 because I don't have a 2 in the numbers we are originally given. So the answer here is going to be 15. The trick is you can't get the 7s. Now, in this problem, we want to focus on what we need. And then you're going to have to separate the two elements of the equation. We have the product of 3 minus t and 3t minus 3 equals 0. That tells us either 3 minus t has to equal 0 or 3t minus 3 has to equal 0, because one or both of those have to be equal to 0. So let's say 3 minus t equals 0. Well, if 3 minus t equals 0, then t equals 3. So we have a value of 3. If we say 3t minus 3 equals 0, then we get 3t equals 3, or t equals 1. So we only have the possibility of two possible values. We want all the possible values. So our answer is D, 1 and 3 only. In this question, we're given that m is greater than negative 1 but less than 0, and which of the following must be true? Well, remember that when you have a fraction less than 1, as you multiply it by itself, it actually gets smaller. For instance, 1/2 squared is 1/4. 1/2 is greater than 1/4. And we're given that this is a negative fraction, greater than negative 1. So it would be a negative fraction like negative 3/4, negative 1/2, negative 1/3. So we've got two things to consider here. We've got to remember that when we multiply a fraction by itself, it gets smaller. And we've got to remember that even exponents turn a negative fraction positive. Let's look at one for instance. Let's just say that m is negative 1/2. Well, negative 1/2 squared is 1/4. That's a positive number. So negative 1/2 squared is going to be the greatest number. When we cube negative 1/2, negative 1/2 cubed is equal to negative 1/8. So if we set it up, we've got negative 1/2 is the least. Negative 1/8 is greater because it's less negative. Remember that on the negative side, the number that's less negative is actually greater. And 1/4 is a positive value. So the correct answer here is C. In this problem we're looking for what must be true if a and b are integers and a plus 2b equals 3b plus 2. Well, our first step here, remember when we have a problem, your first step is to do everything you can do to it. Well, all we can do here is reduce the equation a little bit, and if we subtract 3b from both sides, we get a minus b equals 2. A minus b equals 2. If we look at our answer choices, does a have to be even? No. A could be 5 and b could be 3. Does b have to be odd? No. A could be 4 and b could be 2. So neither of those must be true. But 3 has to be true because a minus b is 2, an even number.